evening all. Warm welcome to all gathered here. Today we are celebrating the third day of this World Allergy Week. So to begin with the program, I'll request everyone to stand and sing a Vande Mataram song. Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shashya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Shubhrajyoshna pulakitayamini, Ullakusumita drumadula shobini, Suhasini sumadura bhashini, Sukadam varadham mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram. Thank you. Next, I call upon Swati and team for the invocation. Yes, speaker. Start. Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. कौन कहता है भगवान आते नहीं, तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं, तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहते हैं भगवान काते नहीं, वीर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं, वीर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं, गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं, गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणम जानकी वल्लभम, रामनारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। Thank you, Swati and team. Next, I would call upon Liza for the welcome speech.
Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of our Bangalore Allergy Center, I am delighted to welcome you to today's program and to our celebrations of World Allergy Week. We are honored to have with us patients and their families, members of the public, healthcare professionals, well-wishers, and our dedicated staff. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. Your presence reflects a shared commitment to better health, greater awareness, and a deeper understanding of allergic disease. Our today's speaker, Dr. Naginder Prasad, will be focusing on a highly critical topic that is essential care in respiratory allergies impacted by climatic change. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone gathered here today. Thank you, and we wish you a meaningful and enjoyable World Allergy Week celebration.
Okay. Thank you, Liza. Next, introduction of the speaker. So I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Nagendra Prasad KV. It's my privilege on behalf of all the staff of Bangalore Allergy Center to introduce our respected speaker, Dr. Nagendra Prasad. Dr. Nagendra Prasad is not only our founder, leader, but also an inspiring mentor whose dedication to patient care, research, and innovation has shaped the identity of our institution for more than 4 decades. As a senior allergy physician and clinical specialist, he established Bangalore Allergy Center in 1980 with a vision to advance allergy diagnosis, treatment, and prevention in India. Through his pioneering work in allergy research, immunotherapy, scientific publications, clinical trials, and patented innovations, he has made remarkable contribution to the field and earned recognition national and internationally. Beyond his professional achievements, we know him as a teacher, guide, and someone deeply committed to improving the lives of patients. Today, it is our honor to welcome and introduce our own mentor and inspiration, Dr. Nagendra Prasad KV. Please join me in giving him a warm welcome. So I call upon today's speaker, Dr. Nagendra Prasad, to have a few words on the topics.
Yeah. Good afternoon to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here and addressing to this assembly. This is not a lecture series. Allergy Week is a communication to the medical and paramedical and to the public, and to have an interactive session on the subject on allergy disorders. Today happens to be my subject, which is relevance to the respiratory and to the environment. The You all know that the lung has got its own defensive mechanism, and also climate has got its own mechanism. So if both the mechanisms are balanced, it goes very smoothly, and man-induced problems with the environment is another crucial point which we will discuss in a short time. And similarly, man has given a beautiful two lungs with his own defensive programs, which is also get destroyed by the individuals like smoking. And he has got a habit of smoking, which is induced a problem. And similarly, the environment which we are living, example, a chola smoking, the smoke which is emitted in the kitchen and the people who are preparing the food, they will be exposed to the smoke and inducing the problems. The lung has got its own defensive mechanism, which I told you. When we take the air, the nose is the main object where it filters all the particles, most of the particles, and control the temperature of the air and also the humidity, the moisture content of the air also will be taken care of before the air enters into the lung. And as it goes descending into the lower system, it has got its own ciliary mechanism, and there are some major particles will be taken care of. And if the air containing a very heavy particles and which cannot be able to tolerate with the lung and it keep quiet. It is like a, for example, we have got a security and a security has got its limited role. A one, two, three persons can come. If the mob comes, the security can't able to manage. Similarly, our system in the lung with a trachea and also a bronchus which enters in the lower part of the lung and which cannot be taken care of. So any particles, the size of the particle is very, very important. The size, if it is less than 2.5 microns, that is what we call, and these particles can enter into the lower part of the lung and settle down, and it can penetrate into the alveoli, a small sacs that is called air sacs, which is present in the lung, and it will be get damaged. So air pollution, if the air particles which are because it is emitted from the automobiles, diesel vehicles and other vehicles, it emits a lot of fine microparticles, and if it is more in the air, and that will be get destroyed in the lung. So one should be very careful. Recently, we had a very bad weather in Delhi. It is one of the news in the world where it has gone beyond 800 pm, and that is inducing the problem in the lung. So, of course, in Bangalore, we are much safer, and it is within the normal limits of 11 and 13. There is one more particle which is size is 10 micron, and this also is very dangerous, and we should not go beyond the 13 level. And coming out to the gases in the weather, one is carbon dioxide. Whatever the air which we breathe out, it containing a lot of carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants. If the carbon dioxide emits more, not only by the us, even from the other sources like the fire and other similar sources, and which is destroying the air content, and carbon dioxide goes up, and the pollens are become more and more released into the air. And not only the pollens are released into the air, the surface of the pollen also will be get irritated, and the content of the pollen will come out, and that becomes more virulent, allergic in nature, and inducing the problems. So these are all setbacks from the pollution. And similarly, we have got ozone, nitrous oxide, nitric oxide, sulfur dioxide. These are all chemicals which has been induced from the various industries. And when you go to the villages, the cattle field also has got some emission, and that also induces the problem. And the environment is not only contributed by urban, even the rural areas, and the human mankind is more responsible for inducing the pollution. So, why I'm telling you all these things, whatever the pollution may be, we have to see that our lungs are much protected and prevented without getting any issues. That is more important. Now, the topmost problem for pollution inducing to the lungs, which is leading on to the COPD. Then we have allergies, allergy bronchial asthma, then allergic rhinitis, allergic conjunctivitis, then the skin problems like urticaria, atopic dermatitis. So these are all different variation of various manifestation of the disease which is inducing in our system. Our main job is to see that we should develop a tolerance to that environment, what is the environment is available. You see, the pollution which is induced by the factors which I discussed, we should develop a tolerance to that environment. That means we had to protect and prevent. And the preventive measures are various are there depending upon the individual. It is individualized. It cannot be generalized. As we seen in the COVID particles cannot be entered into the system by using a mask. So similarly, the particles matter can be prevented by using a mask, and the gaseous cannot be prevented by the regular mask, which we it has to be incorporated with the activated carbon mask. When you use the activated carbon mask, it will absorb the gases into the activated carbon molecules so that it will not allow into the lungs. So these are various, and lungs need not be allergic in nature. It may be a variable. For example, you may be having a tuberculosis, pleurisy, or interstitial lung disease. We call it as ILD, fibrosis, so pneumonia. So these are all the various causes will be there, and which has to be protected with the clean air rather than the polluted air, so that recovery will happen very fast. And the pollution is indoor pollution and outdoor pollution. There are two types. Indoor pollution, where you are living in the office or in the house, which is emitted from the most of the time, which is emitted by the kitchen in the house. The kitchen is having a source of fire, and the type of source of fire is very important. As I told you, in most of the villages, they use the firewood, and firewood emits a lot of smoke, and that is inducing the problem. Now it has come down because they are using the, the gas. Now, the second part is occupational. A painter, he is exposed to the paint smell, and which is damages the lungs. Similarly, in the fine particles like the food industry, where the flour mill is having a lot of fine dust which come to the air, and that is inhaled and causing this problem. The bakery persons also having the same similar problem. And similarly in the hotel industry, so the kitchen is emitting a lot. And also now the most of the hotels is having interiors, and interiors is emitting a lot of chemicals into the environment. That chemicals, it may be formaldehyde based, or it may be sulfonyls, which is inducing the problem, and we are all exposed to that particular gases. So my message is, whatever the environment is, individual has got acclimatization to the new environment, and if that acclimatization is not working, then he reacts, and the reaction is the process of sneezing, running nose, cough, difficulty in breathing. A person who is getting a cough, the reason is a defensive force. Any particles which is not accepted by the body or to the lung, it is thrown out. By in the form of throwing out, either it gets in the form of sneezing or in the form of cough, and even if it goes beyond that, then the mucus is produced in the lung and it blocks to enter into the lungs, and that's why he is getting expelling the mucus. Similarly, in the nose, either the sneezing and running nose will also help to flush out the particles which is going into the nose, and it will reduce. So these are all defensive forces which is given to us as a gift by the creator, and this defensive forces, if it goes beyond the threshold, then it will break, and it will can't be function, and it will surrender, and by this surrender, then the more particles enter in the lung and induces. And then we had to supplement with the drugs in the form of inhalers, or to facilitate the mucus to come out in the form of mucolytics. And to reduce the allergies, we give the antihistamines, and sometimes we have to give the inhalers, corticosteroid inhalers. Nowadays, what we are getting the corticosteroid inhalers is very safe. As we are applying the corticosteroid ointments in the skin, similarly we are spraying into the lung and in the minute quantities, and whatever you are, it is a fraction of the gram which is there and which is sufficient to reduce the inflammation in the lung, and it doesn't cause any problem because it doesn't absorb into the systemic circulation. Any drug, any corticosteroid which is given in the form of syrup, tablet, or in the form of injectables, then the steroid level goes up in the blood, and whatever the possible production of the corticosteroid in the blood will be higher concentration, and the cortisol will not be released into the blood, because cortisol every day releases only one particular time depending upon the concentration of the cortisol present in the blood. So they monitor and they release. And if you take a tablet on a regular basis, the production of the cortisol in the blood will be come down. So that leading on to the complications. But the amount of corticosteroids we use in the inhaler is very, very, very small, minute, significant, insignificant, and may not be absorbed into the blood and doesn't induce any adverse events. So this corticosteroid is not a contraindication and is not a habit forming. Only when you go to the why we had to use it, once you use the inhalers, it should be taken as a long life. The reason is it reduces only the inflammation, but molecular changes happens in the blood, which is produced by the allergies. That is called immunoglobulin E. That immunoglobulin E is produced because of the allergies, and inhalers will not control the immunoglobulin E. It controls only the inflammation which is affected in the lung. Once you reduce the IgE, and definitely the inflammation will come down, and your use of the inhalers can be brought down, or you can stop it, and you can do it. That has to be done if you reduce the IgE molecule. This IgE molecule reduction can be done by immunomodulators. Immunomodulators is nothing but anything which you take inside which changes the immune system and producing the blocking antibodies, and that is called IgG. Reactive antibodies, we call it as IgE, and IgE is responsible for inducing the respiratory inflammation, and that can be brought down by immunomodulation, and that is called immunotherapy. We are preparing a vaccine out of the same material what you are allergic, and that is given to the body, and the body will tune itself to produce the blocking antibodies rather than reactive antibodies. And this blocking antibodies production will take some time to release. So we are teaching the immune system to produce more of the blocking antibodies and rather than the reactive antibodies. So once the blocking antibodies is produced, then almost the symptoms will come down, inflammation will come down, and they will be free from the symptoms. So why I'm telling you all these things, this is a sort of education program, education analysis, and you should understand once you are having allergies, if it is a short period, nothing to worry, we can give some symptomatic drugs and you will be all right. If it repeatedly, recurrently happening more than 6 weeks, and every season is happening, and if our season becomes a perennial, that is throughout the year you'll be having the symptoms, then you'll be getting a proper attention. We can't depend only on the symptomatic drugs. Then we had to go for analysis. We had to identify what is the cause of allergy by doing the specific IG test, that is called blood test. Now we have got a different types of tests are available, and which we have advanced much more in going for component resolved diagnosis. So every protein has got its own component, and that component is inducing the person, and we have to find out what is that component. And once we identify the component, then we can make the component with a vaccine and that can be given to the patient. But it is on the way, it is not available right now. But what is available right now is the whole extract is available. For example, if it is allergic to the mites or allergic to the pollens or a fungal spores, then we take that particular concentration and we have to take it. And that will induce the tuition program or a tutorial program or induction of the allergen into the blood, and that will make the body well tolerated and the symptoms can bring down. So this is the phenomena which is happening. So as I was telling about the air pollution, the the neighboring buildings are demolished nowadays as the city is growing. The old buildings are demolished and new buildings are happening. When you demolish the old building, a lot of fungal spores are there in the walls and the bricks. And when you dismantling, the spores are released into the air in larger quantities in lakhs together, and you are forced to inhale. The moment you inhale and you feel you getting the problem. So always we feel that dust particles are coming and inhaling, but it's not a dust particle. The dust particles are much bigger, which cannot enter into the lung. It is only the fine particles, is the fungal spores, which is about 6 to 8 micron in size. So one should be careful whether it's a new building or a old building. If it's an old building, it is really threatening, and you should be away from the scene, and you'll be more protected. So these are all consequences will happen. For example, another garbage. No, garbages are plenty in every road, and they are putting in one particular unidentified places, and it is not taken care of. And the van will come, and it will stand on by. Even the lorries or the autos will be standing there, and you leave it for hours together, and a lot of fungal spores coming out of the garbage, and everybody will be inhaling. So these are all happening on day-to-day basis. So this is the the pollution is controlled by somebody, and the respiratory allergies, if it happens, it is controlled by the medical fraternity. So the medical fraternity is capable of giving you services for acute symptoms, which is happens suddenly, and a chronic symptoms. Chronic, which is happens over a period of time. It may be a months or years and decades. So then we have to see the condition of the lung and which has to be treated. So once you are in a chronic level, it has to be treated on regular basis, like brushing the teeth. Every day we brush our teeth. Even the teeth is good, still it is fit, then you are brushing. We are not waiting for the decay of the teeth and then brush. So similarly, when you happens to have symptoms, then it has to be taken on daily basis so that it sanitation of the lung will be there. And with that sanitation, the whole lung will be free from the mucus and the dust particles, and you will be free from the whole day. Again, you have to take it. Now, earlier we had the inhalers which has to be taken 3 hours to 4 hours. Now it has come later, it has introduced a 12-hourly. Now we have got a 24-hourly long acting inhalers are available, and which is much very friendly to the COPD patients and also chronic bronchitis people. So these are the just a pinpoints I want to share with you, and I think we should have an interactive. More interactive will be more understandable, more uh, informative. Just one or two examples I can give with the patients. One patient recently had a child of 3.5 years. That child is a cesarean child. The difference between a cesarean and a normal child, normal delivery, the it is again depend upon the the microbiota we say. Microbiota is a we have a different organs, and the different organs have a different bacteria, and that is microbiota. They are healthy bacteria. Only if you diseased, then this colonies changes. So it has been scanned and 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 in the different countries in the different areas, and they have found out what is the microbiota in the skin, what is the microbiota in the eye, what is the microbiota in the lung, what is the microbiota in the throat, like these different organs they have published. And this microbiota, in coming into the cesarean section, when the child is exposed to that microbiota when they deliver, if it's a vaginal delivery, it's a normal delivery, then the microbiota which is found in the vagina and the cervix, which is more healthier than the skin one. So the moment you put in the baby through the cesarean section, the microbiota in the skin which is exposed, and that will be induced. So the initial startup for the baby with the microbiota, either with the vaginal or by the skin, and that depends, the growth will happen, and this microbiota will be growing, and by the end of 2 years it has to start its own immune activity. Till such time the baby is depending upon the mother's immunity. So mother is feeding the breast milk, and that has got a immune active cells, and that is helping the baby. So therefore the baby has to be given the breastfeeding for 6 months to 9 months, and it can be extended to the 1.5 year. So these are all factors which has been helping the baby to grow either to the allergy inducing problem or a normal growing problem. So these are all things to happen. So we have our own defensive system according to the environmental we change. A person, as I told you earlier, in the bakery inducing problem, he'll be exposing that particular wheat, and also the yeast, which is a fungus, which is also inhaled and causes some problem after certain years because his immune system is not able to tolerate, and that's why he gets it a bakery inducing pneumonia and other problems. But up to that year, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, some people are there working for 30 years without any problem. After 31st, then he start getting inducing the problem. So the moment you identify, you had to isolate that particular patient so that he should not continue to work. So whatever the damage happened, that will be started regressing. If we continue to do it, then the destruction will continue. So like this, we have to identify, and we can give a total solution to the patient. So similarly with a contact with the skin. Skin is exposed to the various environmental gases, dust particles, and chemicals. And similarly, we are applying so many things like aerosol sprays we are having on the body. The aerosol is very fine the moment you put into the body, so that your perspiration and a bad smell which is emitted because of the perspiration will be reduced. But after effect, when you inhale the aerosol, occasionally if it happens, nothing to worry about it. But if it happens on a daily basis, there are people who are using 3 to 4 times in a day. And the moment they want to use it, even they are staying in the house, they want to use it, and then they will keep it very fragrant, beautiful smelling. But that smell is good, but after some time, when they start inhaling, that will be destroying the lungs. So these are things which is inducing the effect on the individual. So with this message, what I want to tell you is the immune system which we have, the body organs which we have, has got a very fine structural fitting protection. And this protection, which we go beyond the threshold, it will not work, it will surrender by itself, and then the inducing the problems. So similar to the air pollution, I'm not telling that I'm against the pollution or with the air pollution. In the air pollution also we have got a threshold to tolerate it, but it happens because of the nature or because of the man induced problems. and it can induce so many factors, but we will keep away from the pollution and still we are exposed and we induce the problems. So these are all things which I wanted to inform you on this education week. And if you have any questions, you can ask me so that that will be more informative and more effective in understanding. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Carbon monoxide.
Pardon?
Carbon monoxide.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain a little more? Because there is so much pollution.
Yeah. One is carbon dioxide and the carbon monoxide. Carbon dioxide is because of our respiration and also by so many other mechanisms, either because of the industry and other things, which is absorbed by the plants. So plants will be taking the carbon dioxide and it emits the oxygen. There is one. Carbon monoxide, it is not absorbed by the plants and which induces, and particular ppb is available. So carbon monoxide is, I think, about 60 to 80 ppb, which goes beyond that. Then it induces the toxicity in the lung. So it has to be taken care of. I'm not going in detail about the carbon monoxide.
If anybody having a question, please. You have any doubts also, you can ask about allergies. Yeah, Rakiman, please.
So, slit treatment that Bangalore Medical Center is offering, some patients find it very effective, but some, even though they follow it for a long time, it's not effective. What is the reason?
Yeah, the slit containing a molecule, it has got a purified molecule of the antigen extracted from that particular sensitive allergen. It may be a pollen, it may be a fungal spores, insect, or a dust mites. And that particular dose, what we have put, is almost tolerable to the most of the patients. In immunotherapy, what happens? It is more effective in a particular dose. If you go beyond that dose, immune system doesn't work, or if you reduce the dose, it will not work. So it has got a range. That range only it has to work, and most of the patients they respond to that particular treatment. So either in some of the exclusive patients may be required the double day dose or reducing the dose. Reducing dose is not helping, but only we have to increase dose. And once it increases, naturally it will be more effective. That is dosage part from our side. And the patient side, they had to be taken the slit in a proper manner. The slit has been kept below the tongue and the contact should be at least minimum 5 minutes because it has to go to the different layers of the mucous membrane in the mouth and then go to the systemic circulation. So some people, the moment it dissolves, they swallow it. So before absorption into the systemic circulation, it will enter into the stomach and it will get destroyed. So these are the one. Number two, their immune system is not very active and maybe a sluggish, which may be required additional boosting immune system. So we are adding the boosting immune system is immunomodulators. The one is influenza vaccine. The vaccines are very, very effective boosting the immunity. It need not be directly into the particular the influenza. It can be other system also because the antibodies are produced immediately and the effectiveness will be more effective. One. Number two, the another vaccine is pneumococcal vaccine. Now we got a Shigellas vaccine that is also helping. Earlier we thought is only the the herpes zoster vaccine is only for herpes zoster, but now we have understood that it is very effective to maintain the neurological and the hematological activities. So blood clotting also can bring down. So it is very safe for more than 60 years. The Shigellas has to be taken, and now they are recommending 2 doses after 6 months. So though it is expensive, it is worth in giving to the aged people. And third is people who are not able to afford to these vaccines. We have got another immunomodulator which is available is a probiotics. Probiotics is very effective, but is acting as an adjuvant to the main treatment. We cannot be replaced with a total pharmacotherapy. And if you add on with the probiotics, the there are, we call it as omega fatty acids. These omega fatty acids are released into the blood, and it will act as a immunomodulation and also bring down the inflammation in the blood so that it will act. And there are different strains are available and different strains acting for different disorders, and that has, it is now, it is advancing. I think over a period of time you'll be seeing that it is called personalized probiotics that will be seen shortly.
Anybody having any questions, please come forward. Feel free to ask any doubts regarding respiratory allergies or asthmas, anything, any doubt regarding medication. Anyone have anything can be clarified. It's an open forum, so doctor is here today. So anybody having the medication, people taking slit tablets, any doubt with that, please come forward and
Sir, I have
Sure, sir.
a key question. The COPD and asthma, we heard. But what's the difference between this? Right? Are these causing maybe the allergens or maybe the bacteria or fungus?
Earlier we understood that COPD is only because of the smoking or because of the industrial exposure. Now we have thought the asthma is also leading on to the COPD. The asthma is because it is renewing. The COPD is non-reversible. That means whatever the damage happens, it will be not reversible. Whereas in asthma, it can be reversible to the normal extent. And if it runs in over a period of like decades, then it will landing on it. So asthma leading on to the COPD. So COPD produces a lot of mucus, and because of the mucus is a very rich protein, the bacteria will be colonized, and that induces the infection, and that blocks the air exchange centers, so that you will not be able to assimilate the oxygen what you are taking. It cannot go to the blood. Therefore, they are supplementing with the oxygen concentrators. Then these are all things which happens in the COPD. Whereas in asthma, once you make the bronchial into the dilation, the automatically the air enters. So the mechanism of the lung is not damaged. It's only the bronchospasm. The bronchospasm is like touch me not. Grass is there, and that grass, the moment you touch, it will fold. So in asthmatic patient, what happens? The moment the air enters which is not accepted by the patient, it contracts. Once you contract, then you feel difficulty in breathing, and once you give the inhaler, it will dilate. So this is the mechanism. So asthma is not a bad condition. It can be controllable, it can be preventable, and it can come back to the normal. It is not a curable. It is a status. It is a phenomenon. Like a child is a crying, the baby born with a cry, and for everything it cries. Some babies laugh. They simply laugh. For nothing reason they laugh. Some shouts. So there's a nature. Similarly, in asthmatic condition, there's a nature of the bronchioles which contracts immediately for any stimulation goes into the cell. So they are, the lungs are very good sensors. So the moment they enter into the particular premises, if the smoke is there, they'll sense it. If the smoke is there, I can't be here. Before you sense it, they sense it. Similarly, the some people will say that rain is definitely to come within 10 minutes. The rain will come. They are broadcasters. They are really sensing because the changes happens in the lung, which is giving a signal. So anybody who's having asthma need not be worried, need not be struggle to cure. It is not a curable disease because it's only symptoms which is happening. So once you stabilize a lung, the symptoms disappears, will not recur again and again. So nothing to worry about it. But only in COPD when it happens, it has to be taken care of by regular medication so that it will not advance. Otherwise, it starts advancing.
So one more question. You said that that the environment, it's the environment, the climatic changes. We need to be more cautious. And you mentioned about a particular mask. What is the mask you said about?
One is a regular mask, like any cloth mask. Another is the fumes and the moisture can be controlled only with the activated carbon mask. So earlier it was in the supplying to the military and other industries, and a very huge big mask, a small granules they used to put with a tube, and air has to pass through the activated carbon and then enter the system. Now the cloths are available, very delicate. It is sealed on both the sides, and if you put it on, so that all the air will be enter by filtering this activated carbon, and after some time it will be get blocked. Then you can put it on the pressure cooker which is boiling, so that it will dispel all the blocks, and again you can use it, reusable.
Any other queries? Yeah. I think Swati is having some query. Please come forward, Swati.
I saw one patient. She took vaccine. Just after 1 month only she had by how it goes.
Probably, you see, the vaccine cannot be active immediately for controlling the attacks or infections immediately. Therefore, any vaccine to be taken, it should be in a normal condition, then it has to be taken so that the immune activity can start within 2 to 3 weeks. But in that particular case, they might have had some pre-inflammatory or pre-infective conditions. That means some inflammations may be there in the lung and persisting, and it may not be effective with the vaccine, and the patient may be having symptoms after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, not because of the vaccine. That is the process which has happened in the body. So that's why the vaccine is not effective. Therefore, any vaccine to be taken, it should be in a normal environment, in a normal condition, then only it will be effective. And if you're already having a fever and you have taken some antibiotics, you give a gap of 6 weeks, then you can take it, then it will be effective.
Okay. I think that's one more query is there.
So is that vaccination does not give support to that patient?
Vaccine is supportive. As I told you, it should be a normal person, normal condition, then you can give it. If it's already treated or if it's already having symptoms, you should not give any vaccine which is not going to be effective.
The vaccine is how she has that.
The vaccine is not effective as you, that is your question, right?
Yes, sir. That particular patient.
In that,
We talked to him individually. He has already answered it.
the you see, any vaccine if you give it, the body has to respond to produce the antibodies, right? To the particular thing. And to produce in antibodies, the the production of the antibodies has to happen in the immune system, and there are two cells, Th1 cells, Th2 cells. If the Th2 cells is dominant and producing a more of neutrophils, this vaccine will not be effective because neutrophils block it. But in case of Th1 is responding, then they produce more of antibodies, which is activating the B cell and the E cell. Therefore, they are producing. So that's the only difference.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, doctor. So it was such an insightful like thought about the respiratory allergies. So I'm sure people gathered here have a great like knowledge about whatever sir has told us. So we'll put hands together, a big hand for our doctor, allergy physician. not just a doctor, allergy physician, specially committed to allergy. And I don't have a words to express how much he is committed to patient and how much he has studied about allergies, still studying about, and he's the man like who told there is a cure for this disease. Yes, allergy has a cure and you can solve. So again, I want everyone to put the hands together. And a formal token of thanks, I would request Paranjoti sir to give this doctor.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. So as we, please be seated, sir. As we come to the conclusion part of our program, so I would like to call Bibina for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we come to the third day of World Allergy Week, it's my pleasure to discuss what of time. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our respected speaker, Dr. Nagendra Prasad Smith, for delivering informative session of topic essential care respiratory allergy prevention by climate change. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge and helping us understand the importance of allergy care to this changing environment. I would also like to thank our management and organization team for their support and kindness making this event possible. My, my heartfelt appreciation goes to all the doctors, nurses, staff members, volunteers for the hard work and dedication for effort. Your the effort behind the scenes ensured that today's program ran smoothly and successful. A special thank you to all the attendees for your presence, interest, and active involvement. Your participation made today's section meaningful and encouraging. As we conclude the Observe World Allergy Week, let us use knowledge gained today, create greater awareness about allergies and their impact on health. Once again, I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Nagendra Prasad and to everyone who contributed to this successful program. Thank you all. Have a pleasant day.
Sponsor. Sponsor.
Yes. Today's sponsors, we have high tea and refreshment now. So sponsors are Sun Pharma. I would like to thank them also. So the conclusion part, I request everyone to stand and for the national anthem. जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभाशिष मागे गाहे तव जय गाता जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद. Thank you all. Please accompany us with the high tea sponsored by Sun Pharma.
My friend Dhattaraj.